welcome back, watch fans. We got another exciting, amazing, unbelievable, but true episode for you today. And you know, I thought I'd show you this video, share with you this video, get your feedback on this, because you know I find it quite interesting. You know, we got ArchieLuxury, you know, the Bogan of Brisbane, the Hungary Hippo, the horned walrus. He's got the two horns in his head, and I think he actually copied well, he's actually talked about this topic several times, but you know, I think he copied a video that I did a few weeks ago. Talking about one of the big issues in the watch community, which is you know, you just have too many. Is it perception or reality? Is it your perception that the so-called hobby, you know, it attracts a lot of, you know, just low-life scum, or is it the reality? Is it perception or reality? I don't know what the answer is. Actually, I'm neutral. I'm neutral because it could be, you know, everybody has their own biases. But let's see what the so-called pontiff has to say. And you know, I don't know how he could be the pontiff if, again, without a Patek Philippe Perpetual 3940. I don't think you can call yourself a pontiff, but you know, whatever. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
Zero, China. Guys, why does watch collecting attract such dickheads?
Yeah, why is that? I mean, there is a lot of low life trash in this so-called universe, but I tend to think most of it is at the lower end. I think most of it is kind of at the Rolex fanboy end. And again, it's another video I did, but yeah, I think when you're talking about, you know, these channels that you look at, like the Archie, you know, Buchiachistan, you know, the Chomostan channel, the Cuckistan channel, those are basically the dickhead channels that really attracts kind of like the guys that kind of at the bottom of the food chain, what are they called? The low, you know, low quality people. It's the low value, and the value increases as you kind of get into vintage. It goes up, and we're talking Patek vintage, things like that. But the basic Rolex, the modern watch channels, it basically you're dealing with you know, trashy people, like kind of like Archie and, you know, the people on his channel. Also, we have them on our channel, but you know, those channels get them more.
Especially from the Rolex collectors. Why does this hobby attract such fuckwits? Why does it attract such fuckwits like no other hobby? And I got to tell you something, guys. I am fucking sick of all the fucking dickheads and cocksuckers out there who are destroying this magnificent hobby. That's right, guys. I've fucking had enough.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Well, I don't know if I agree, because there's always I think things have definitely gotten more agitated since you know, basically since a lot of newbies came in, like, you know, in the last, let's call it post-COVID, you know, you got the COVID collector, so to speak, you know, or the people, the Hodinky crowd, the Hodinkies, you know, the people who've come into this in the last like 7-8 years. Well, I would say definitely with COVID, it really, you know, it accelerated, you know, with the timepiece gentleman types. You got the O'Cock, you got the JJ Buchiac channel, you know, those type of people, low class people, definitely, you know, the barbarians have stormed the gates. We have to try to do the gatekeeping. The gatekeeping is failing. The barbarians have stormed the gates, and now they're like, you know, these slobs are all in the you know, they're inside the gates with their size 7 Skechers and their Breguet shitter watches and their tutors, the chudas.
The cockheads, the fuckheads, man, I am sick and tired of for everybody out there. And I got to be honest with you, there are some real fuckheads in this hobby, and it was one of the main.
I don't know. What do you guys think? Are there a lot of fuckheads in the so-called hobby? Leave your nasty and vicious comments below. Let me see if I can. Let me see here. Put this out here. We will put this out. There we go. Make sure you click the like, subscribe button. Upvote. I heard that's what you're supposed to say to get the algorithm.
Reasons that I got rid of a watch that I truly, truly did love.
Want my face to look youthful and healthy. I finally found a product that works.
Been shown in studies to actually make you look younger.
I mean, I actually really don't. You know me, I'm always like
these ads for makeup. You know, it's interesting. I saw that the Curly show. He was thing with that guy. What's his name? The Grifter of Venice and the other guy, the other drunken Irishman, his buddy there, and that guy was talking about his makeup routine. I mean, this guy puts on like 3 different things of makeup on his face every day, like more, maybe, who knows? He buys like a skin cream that's $150. I mean, it's kind of weird. No, I mean, for like again, I think the guy's, I'm pretty sure is straight, right? I mean, it's a little weird, right? I mean, but maybe not. Maybe listen, you know, listen. I guess if you're putting your face on the internet, maybe you know it does make sense. Maybe I should use
one watch. I truly did love the gold Rolex Submariner, the Submariner, aka Gold Dancer. I got rid of it because of all the dickheads, the fuckwits in this hobby.
Yeah, see, I know exactly what he's saying. See, here's the problem. Like this watch, the Rolex Submariner, like even like I'm wearing the King Tut right now, which is the two-tone. So that's like the poor cousin of this, right? The two-tone, the King Tut. And the problem with the watch is, I mean, it's a great watch. It's the icon. I think that's really the one to get, the two-tone, the bluesy as they call it. The peasants call it the bluesy. But the problem is, that watch is just like, every newbie, every grifter, people who are not really into watches, they all gravitate towards that watch because it's such a, it's kind of a beautiful watch. And listen, being a Rolex, it's very, it's durable. Listen, I'm not going to go through the whole sales pitch, but yeah, that watch has been a victim of its own success. And, when you wear that, everybody asks, oh, is that a real Rolex? Or is that, I really don't want the hoi polloi. I don't want the hoi polloi complimenting about my watch. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want somebody, saying, wow, what a nice Rolex. I don't want that because that means, you're dealing with low lives. But if somebody says, oh, wow, that's a nice Patek ellipse. Wow, what a beautiful ellipse. Or wow, that's a 5130. Is that a travel time? Is that the perpetual calendar? Wow, gondolo. Then you're dealing with higher quality people, right? But yeah, the problem with this is look, these kind of colorful, flashy watches, it just attracts, it attracts the masses. That's the problem. It is a mass product, it's a mass luxury product. And this attracts, your basic, low lives, like, those channels, Buchiachistan, Cuckistan, and Chomostan, and the Pontifstan.
And it pains me. It pains me to no end to tell you the reason I sold my solid gold Rolex sub. It wasn't financial. It wasn't anything to do with the gold was irritating my skin. No, there's just so many cocksuckers who are in this hobby who make me violently fucking ill. That's the reason I got out of that piece. And I've got to be totally honest with you. There are people in this hobby who just make me want to vomit. Vomit. That's exactly it. And I sold the solid gold Submariner, and I picked up a Patek Philippe 5110, which unfortunately was stolen from me. And here's a Maserati dial Daytona. I was trying to go away from the hype. And before we go on there, just very quickly there, guys, quick wristwatch check.
Look at this. I mean, the guy's gone way downhill. The Breguet, I mean, the Breguet is another mass market. Yeah, that's kind of a scam brand. We did a video on this. Again, Breguet, don't believe the hype. It's just a bullshit mass-produced brand by Swatch, okay? Yes, good, they have some nice technique. It's just an old-fashioned looking design, mass-produced, mass-produced, okay? Don't believe the hype. It's just garbage, and you're going to lose your money with Breguet, seriously. And it looks terrible. I mean, this guy's wearing a dirty T-shirt. He's wearing a dress watch. It's just, everything is just wrong. And the watch, actually, this guy, the watch actually looks small on him. This guy must be huge because this is a big watch, and it looks kind of small on his watch.
As the leader, as the supreme,
it kind of looks
being. I'm wearing a Breguet 7057 traditional.
Look at these arms. He's like, it's all fat. It's all like blubber.
And I've got to tell you guys, I really have to tell you, the amount of fuckwits in this hobby, it is just so destroying.
It's interesting. Yeah. So, actually those two, I guess where Archie is going is, because again, the problem with Archie is he's got no balls. This is what he doesn't tell you. Because again, I did another video on this is, you have a a lot of these newbies and a lot of tomato cans, crayonators, and Palmolive dish soap drinkers. You got these guys like the Keslowitzes, you got the Oakocks, you got the Peasant Philippes, you got Archie himself. People who think they know everything, right? But they don't. They have no taste. I mean, look at they have no style. They're low class trash, right? I mean, look at this guy. Look at his fucking t-shirt, the baseball caps indoors, the flip flops. Listen, basically the problem is with Archie is he doesn't trust his own taste. He doesn't trust his own taste. So when he had those watches, everybody was saying, "Oh, it's old fashioned," or "Oh, it's two tone." "Oh, it's like you can't afford a full gold Daytona." By the way, these are actually really nice watches. These two, I think are good watches. Why did he sell them? Because he got he got what do you call it? He got psyched. Listen. I don't give a shit what the peasants say about my watches, because I know that these people are not they're not at my level. So I mean, I can't it's like if somebody who's kind of at a higher level tells me that my watches are crap, then I take it seriously. But when some peasant lowlife who's like a Rolex fanboy says, "Oh, you have a Patek 3940, that's a lady size watch," or "Oh, Patek Ellipse, that's a lady." Well, yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, these guys started collecting 5 years ago. They just started buying they bought the first Rolex 5 years ago, whatever. I mean, they they don't even know own a Patek Philippe, right? But now these two watches that Archie had actually, I think they're great watches. And he shouldn't have sold them but he got, everybody was telling him bullshit, and he listens to it. He doesn't believe in his own taste. I think this was actually peak Archie. This was the height of his collection. It's amazing because that Rolex Daytona with, I think they call it the racing dial. I think they call it the racing dial, right? Blue dial that's actually, I think at some point that's going to be a desirable watch. The racing dial actually makes the watch more readable, frankly. It does work on that. Also, it is a racing watch in theory, so it does work. And it's a little bit, it's flashy watch. You got the gold, the blue, the red. It's the King Tut. It is a King Tut. It's a King Tut Daytona. And I'm not sure. I think those are like under 20 grand right now. And it's funny. Actually, I remember when he had this, that watch was like 15 grand. I think he also had the King Tut Submariner at the same time, right? And I was thinking of getting that racing dial Daytona, but I was like, I can't do it. It's like I don't believe in this Daytona bullshit. Like the chronograph, it's a bunch of nonsense. Nobody uses it, right? So I ended up not buying it, but it's a really nice watch. And then he had the World Time, which again I'm not a fan of the World Time, but that iteration, which is the yellow gold with that first version of it, first series or whatever you want to call it, which came out, I don't know, in the mid, 2010 or whatever. It looks a little bit old fashioned, a little bit antique, and that's the way it's supposed to be. It's a nice watch. Would I buy it? Absolutely not. But it actually, the watch works. It has a charm. It's like low 20s. And the white gold one that he has now, it's not. It's the wrong one. The dial it's all fucking.
That's the only words I can use. It's fucking soul destroying. I mean, these guys are just total tools. Absolutely tools. They're absolute total fucking tools. And I suppose the problem with this hobby is that
the problem is Archie lets himself get influenced by all the fuckwits that go on his show. But also, he's a fuckwit himself. So it's like a giant fuckwit circle jerk, right? You got these people who know nothing, who have bad taste, and they influence each other. That's why they end up with shitter watches. You got, like, again, case in point, you got this. Again, I'm not trying to, like, rag on this guy. But this guy's a good example. This is a Kesslowitz guy, right? Like, he buys all the absolute wrong watches. I mean, and, he's part of that Archieverse, right? Like, he could have bought a Patek 3940, but instead he buys a shitter perpetual, which is dropping in value. He could have had a classic. He could have had the real deal, a watch that would be respected, which Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised because that guy, I think he works in, what is it? I think he does like snuff films or something, like in Chatsworth. I think he directs, or he's a cinematographer. He does something with like, porno movies or something. So, at least, in the film industry, you're around creative people. Those people would appreciate a Patek 3940, right? Especially, imagine if you actually, you work your way up the ladder. You have a meeting with Jeffrey Katzenberg or something, right? Or whatever. Mike Ovitz. Mike Ovitz will know a 3940. Okay, Mike Ovitz will see that 3940 and say, "Wow, this guy's got style. This guy's got taste. I'm gonna hire him to direct, Titanic 2 or whatever." Jurassic Park 10. But when he sees you wearing that shitter, the modern Patek, the Thierry Stern horror movie on your wrist, he realizes you're just another, sheep. You're a sheeple. You're a sheeple. You're a lemming. So, he gives it to the other guy, right? This is what happens. But Archie lets himself get influenced by, people telling him, "Oh, your watch is too old," or this or that. You need a new one. Again, morons.
Barriers to entry. You can come in as a watch collector and enthusiast very cheaply. See, and this is the whole problem. It is just a glorified pecking fucking order. And this is what is wrong with this hobby itself.
Right. It's not exclusive enough. No, seriously. The problem is, no, he's actually right. The problem is it's very easy to get in for anybody, like anybody who's like, I don't know. Okay. I guess a Rolex costs a couple of grand at least to get in the door, right? But for most people, let's say by the time you're somewhat successful in your career, I'm not talking about big time, but I don't know, you're able to pay your rent or whatever. You have you have access to a credit card. You have access to credit. Yeah, you can buy a Rolex for 10 grand. Like anybody can buy a Rolex in America, pretty much, right? And all of a sudden, once they have it, then they become an expert. They become an expert in everything. They know everything. They're like Juan. They're Juan and Hikino. He thinks he knows everything.
There is that people can enter the hobby, and it's really sad because you've got people who are enthusiasts. They actually like watches. Exactly. And you've got people who are fucking dickheads who just want to show off. I'm better than you. And it just goes without saying, like, you look at this here. Okay, we go. Here's two really nice watches. You've got an Explorer 2 40 mil. Classic.
Again, shitter watch. But again, this is this is the type of watches. Archie's complaining about, why does he have so many dickheads on his channel? And he does. He's got low quality people, just like all those other channels. This channel is the only channel with actually high quality people. A lot of the high quality people on this channel, they don't go in the chat. They rarely pop on, on the panel. They're very low key, but we got a lot of very high quality people. Whereas Archieverse and those channels, they got low class people who buy, like, again, the Rolex Explorer, the what do you call it, the Speedmaster, because because Archie has no taste, so he attracts other shitheads. That's what happens. This channel, you punters, you're lucky to have as your leader, as the leader of your cult, you have somebody like the Colonel who actually has a level of taste. I mean, and again, I'm not like, I think I'm being objective here, because think of it. What other watch channel, what other of these so-called watch people has a Patek Perpetual 3940? They don't. Why don't they have it? Why don't they have it? And they could have gotten one. Why didn't they get one? They're stupid, number one. Number two is they have no taste. And number three is they're stupid. Again, Archie could have gotten the 3940. All these guys, but they don't. But again, why don't they have the watch, which is, again, it's known as the best watch Patek Philippe ever made, okay? Philippe Stern himself, that's the real deal. Philippe Stern was the real deal. That's the guy who made Patek. That's his daily wear. That's his daily watch, okay? And again, it's the best watch Patek Philippe made, and Patek Philippe is, basically the best watch company, mass market watch company, right? So it's the best, basically makes it the best watch in the world. Again, to qualify, it is not the absolute highest complication Patek makes. Yes, I know they do some whatever chiming, masturbating watch for $5 million. Okay, I'm talking about, normal production. Even though the 3940 was only made in less than 4,000 pieces over 25 years, okay? Which means 150 pieces a year across 4 metals, okay? 150 pieces a year across 4 metals, meaning that if you buy a Patek 3940G, you buy a top G, there was probably only 30 of those that were sold that year. 30 or 40 of those that were sold that year. So it's a very exclusive watch. That's the way it works. That's the way it works. Unbelievable, but true. So let's go back to back to
classic vintage Rolex. Well, classic, not vintage, but classic Submarine. A classic Explorer 2 and a manual wine. Man on the fucking moon. Just these enthusiasts. A Reverso. That's another enthusiast watch. Beautiful piece. Really under the.
Again, wait. Okay, back up. So the Reverso. Here's I understand why Archie's complaining, but the problem is, when you talk about the garbage that he has, again, a Reverso should only be worn in gold. A watch and a strap on a crocodile strap should only be a gold watch. And when you're going to the JLC universe, it has to be gold. Otherwise, you're getting bad vibrations, peasant vibes from the steel.
It's another enthusiast watch. Beautiful piece. Really under the radar. Patek Philippe. This is the roll. See, this is what fuckheads should be worshipping. Patek and pussy, but they don't. They worship the fucking crown. Look at this. This is Speedmeister. Beautiful classic watch. Explore it. Look, this is where the effort should go into watches like this. IWC, another great.
Yeah. By the way, the IWC, it's not my cup of tea, but it's an honest watch. I mean, whatever, I think it's called the Ingenieur or whatever it is. It's an honest watch, and IWC actually did some interesting watches back in the I think what's his name did them for him. What the hell is his name? Gerald Genta. He did one called, I think, Yacht Club, which was actually a pretty cool watch. If you can get that in gold, it's a nice watch. Again, same era as the Nautilus, as the Royal Oak, same type of vibe. And again, why do they call it the Yacht Club? Which is kind of a corny name, but again, because there was a nautical theme. You get it? Royal Oak, Nautilus, Yacht Club. It was all. These guys are all so incestuous. These Swiss bastards.
Great brand.
Using the right weight matters. The Body Pod lets you easily understand what is the fastest way to.
And I mean, there are so many beautiful pieces.
Yeah, I'm talking about fat slobs, and look at this. The AI is so brilliant. I'm talking about fat slobs, and I get an ad for a scale.
But the dickheads, they all want the hard-to-get Rolex, the hype, baby. And this is the whole problem, is that the serious.
You know what it is? I think what's happened is originally the watch thing was about, interesting watches, something that's rare, that's interesting, that you have to find. You got to go and research and find and get it. And you have to know stuff, right? Number one is you have to have because look, I think when it comes to, let's say, these vintage watches, the reason most of these peasants don't buy them is because, they don't have the balls, right? You need to have, number one is you got to have knowledge, okay? Number two is you have to have some taste, and then you got to have some balls because, you never know. Something might be wrong with the watch. You never know. You might need a repair. It's possible. You never know, right? There could be other issues, right? So, I mean, these newbies, they want to be reassured. They're like infantile children. They're children. They're children. They want something new and shiny out of the box. It's a very American way of, it's the fucking Americans. It's the Americans and the Australians. I mean, and the Canadians. They're the same. It's especially the Canadians. It's the bottom of the barrel. And the Australians, they want the new. I mean, the Australians have no taste. That's even worse because the Australians. I mean, again, look, again with Archie and his Bogan watches, it's the way it is. Let's see here. No, I disagree. No, you can only wear it in gold.
Enthusiast is brushed aside by the fuckwits in the hobby. I mean, there are some beautiful pieces that are there, but the reality is it's the undesirable element that is attracted to this hobby. The gold dancer, typical. I know a guy who's got a gold dancer. I'm not going to name him. It's like he's wrapped it in rubbers, sticky tape all over it so it doesn't get damaged. I mean, that's like having sex with condoms. I mean, okay, it's novel when you're first starting out. Okay, rubbers offer protection, but once you're in a committed monogamous relationship, take the fucking rubbers off, sunshine. Take the rubbers off. Even you can.
Yeah, it's like these people who don't wear their watch. I mean, like, if you buy, here's the other thing, right? These people, they buy the watch and then they don't wear it. Oh, I'm afraid it's going to get scratched. Oh, it's good. Listen, if you're afraid of the watch getting scratched or this or that, basically it means you can't afford to buy the watch. I mean, it's like if you can't like wear it daily, you shouldn't be buying the watch. You shouldn't be buying it, right? Like if you're afraid of getting it banged up, like what's wrong with it?
You can use the withdrawal method.
By the way, that's part of the look. It's okay if it's got some scratches.
If you're worried about,
I got some scratches on the Bentley. It doesn't bother me a bit.
Pregnancy, but no, these guys, he's got cheap, nasty plastic. He wears rubbers all the time. He eats processed meat. Doesn't even have ribeye. I didn't even talk about Wagyu or grain fed or just cheap, nasty processed sausages. And I saw this fucking cunt filling up with gasoline. He buys the cheap, nasty gas. That just says it, mate. The only thing nasty is if you got that E10 shit. Get the E10 shit. You want to be
okay. I don't know these Australian gases, but again, this is the guy that drives the BMW 3 Series. I mean, I bet Archie. Actually, I think Archie probably puts in the good gas in his car. I bet he does because it probably it makes him feel better. Like, wow, like I'm a high performance driver. He probably buys into that whole thing. But again, with a BMW, you probably shouldn't be using good gas in because it's a shitter car. It's like a rental car. It's like when you rent a car, do you fill it up with a premium? No, you fill it up with the cheapest gas. I mean, if you're driving a BMW 3 Series, you should be filling up with the shittiest gas pot because the car is garbage anyway.
Complete turd in the backyard. That's what I say there. And this hobby, I've got to be honest with you. Why does it attract such dickheads?
Finally, some money.
And the big thing you've got to realize is if you have a look at how, who is the head? Who is in charge of all the rules? Well, it's the manufacturers. Okay, the manufacturers. They set the rules. Okay, because let's face it, the manufacturers themselves they say who gets what.
Oh yeah, so here's the problem. I get distracted. So the problem is, right? But the problem, what's happened with this, the so-called watch hobby, whatever, in the last, in the COVID era, which has kind of perverted things. When all the newbies came in. Now, it used to be watches were about. Again, I give an example. If you look at a real watch collector, you look at this guy John Goldberger, right? Oro Montanari, right? This guy's got like 2,000 watches, probably. Who knows? Thousands of watches, literally thousands. But to him, he collects. I mean, he does have mostly high-end stuff, very high-end stuff, very rare high-end stuff. But he also likes cheap stuff, weird stuff. That's like, okay, wow, this is just an unusual, funny watch. Like it's about the hunt. For him, it's about the hunt. He doesn't buy new watches. Do you think John Goldberger ever bought a new watch? I mean, he probably bought like as some special release, kind of as a favor to friends, whatever. And then he gets rid of it. But what's happened is this whole watch thing has become all about like, okay, how do you get access to the AD? Oh, how do you get the hype watch? I want the hype watch because I that's the watch I'm supposed to want. That's the watch I'm supposed to want. I want only the hype watch, the new hype watch. So it's become all about that, right? It's all about basically guys competing about status. It's become a status thing in terms of who can bamboozle their AD or who can, allegedly have be so important that he gets the call to get, some so-called desirable watch. And I think if you're in that world, that's kind of really the bottom of the barrel. It really is the bottom of the barrel. I mean, it's like, if you're talking about Rolex, all that shit, it's, you're a tomato can, basically. You're a tomato can and a crayon eater. I would completely refuse to play in that space. Completely. I bet though, if I walk into Patek and say, listen, I'm the proprietor of the Watch Reporter channel, the very prestigious Watch Reporter channel. And I'll tell you what, if you give me this watch and you give me a discount on top of it, you know, we'll say good things about Patek, and you know, we'll get all the tomato cans to come to your shop and buy your garbage. You know, we'll buy your like Calatravas and your undesirable stuff and your Coda 1159s. They probably would do it, but you know, I don't believe in that. It's like, you know, it's. I find it very distasteful. But you know, again, this is what I. So Archie's correct here. Archie,
they dictate the terms because they control the supply. They control the supply. This is the first part of the food chain is distribution. They control wholesale and they control who their product goes to. They control who the product goes to. And what I've got to tell you is this. Have a look at that. There's 3 Breguets. People think I'm nuts for having 3 Breguets. These are the most classiest wristwatches known.
Okay, so listen, to give credit to this bogan, this horned bastard, is you know, at least okay, he's kind of going a little bit off the beaten path. He's going towards Breguet, and you know what? Listen, my opinion of Breguet is that you know it's basically garbage. You know, I know it's craft, whatever. You know, we did the whole video. I'm not going to repeat it. But it is basically garbage, right? But you're getting a lot of bang for the buck here. You're getting a lot of bang for the buck in terms of. I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't say that. It's wrong. It's a value trap, is what it is. It's a value trap. You know, you think it's a value stock. It's not. It's a value trap. It looks like you're getting a lot of value, but at the end of the day, you got a Breguet. That's the problem with the watch. Oh yeah, it's a lot of gold on the wrist. But it's a Breguet. That's the fucking problem. Yeah, it's a lot of so-called horology, but it's a Breguet. That's the problem. You know, it's just not a. You know, it's kind of like an Oris or a Tuda or Chuda. It's the same idea. But he got these 3 shitter watches. I mean, the one on the left, the white one, which is like, again, it's the wrong one. It's like it's not best of breed. It's the if you're gonna go with Breguet, at least get the Daniel Roth era. At least get like, you know, that late 80s, early 90s. Okay, maybe get a complication, because they do some, you know, nice complications. But instead, he gets this the one on the left, the white with the Arabic. I don't even know what that is. I mean, if you get Breguet, you have to have Roman numerals. That's the whole idea. That's the Breguet look. You want the Breguet look. He gets like something that looks like a Timex. Then he gets this chronograph. Again, why does he need a chronograph? I mean, does he do any exercise? Does he race cars? Does he race horses? Does he? No, he's a fat slob that you know sits at home eating potato chips and farting all day. And then he's got the other one on the right, which is the TVG watch, the rodent. It's the rodent. That watch is a rodent magnet. It's a rat breeding watch. You got the rodent. That's the fake aristocrat that has one. I mean, the watch is completely ridiculous. It's yeah, it's basically it's a joke. It's a joke. But he gets 3 of them. He goes in deep. And now, why is he doing this video? Why is he bitter? Because you know his audience, which is all a bunch of tomato cans, Rolex fanboys, Rolex Omega Chuda fanboys, they don't understand Breguet. It's like this is too advanced for them. Like you know, I mean, Breguet is the bottom of the barrel. It's too advanced for these punters, right? So he's bitter. But I understand where he's going. Listen, you know, at least the Breguet, you know, it's an interesting choice, I guess. I mean, you know, it's total trash, but you know, at least it's better than, you know, like his usual thing of buying 3 identical Omegas or something.
Man, but I'm the fuckwit. I'm to be laughed and scoffed at, because I should have gone for Panda Daytona, Coke. I should have gone for a Batman, a Batgirl. You know?
Yeah. That's right. That's what happened. Yeah. You see, this is see now. You know what's so funny? This is so funny. Because on Archie's, you know, it's funny. On Archie was like ragging on me and all his peasants, like, oh, this guy's got the lady size Patek. Oh, it's the lady size Patek. You know, because they don't know any better. These guys are all peasants and wearing Rolex tool watches, right? I mean, it's and then Archie now that he goes into Breguet, he's getting a taste of his own medicine. The peasants are turning on him. The Rolex and Chuda and Omega peasants turning on him. Why didn't you get a Batgirl, a Bat, I don't know, whatever, Batman and Robin or whatever it is, these fucking Rolex and, you know, who knows what.
These fuckwits, they call it the Bruce Wayne because it doesn't want to be a girl, doesn't want to be Batgirl.
Oh, Bruce, Batgirl. Right. What? Okay, so why is that watch called the Batgirl? And now they're calling it the Bruce Wayne. I get it. That's funny. The Bruce Wayne, because it's not.
Bruce Wayne, what a fucking tool. What a fucking tool. And this son of a bitch has gone out selling. He's become a preacher. He's become a preacher for the onion. It's just, honestly, it just makes me so fucking sad. It's horrible. This is a well thought out collection. Look at this: 3 Breguets, a JLC master compressor, Patek World Time, 2 of the most iconic chronographs in steel, a Zenith El Primero Open Heart, 3861 Speedmeister, and we'll throw a Rolex in for good order. How's that? Hey, look at that. That's a thought out collection. But no, hype, baby. And
yeah, so the Archie collection, I mean, it's still, you know, I mean, and kind of the irony is, again, he's got that shitter Louis Vuitton box, which is, you know, we actually did a video on these Louis Vuitton boxes. I think Archie's is fake. I think it's a Fugazi. It looks like a Fugazi Louis Vuitton box. Now, again, the collection here is nasty. It's vicious and nasty. It's nasty and vicious. What do we got since the last time we did this? The only like decent watch here, I think the only decent watch is that JLC master compressor, whatever the fuck that is, which is at the top right. And that, I only say that because actually, you know, the Zenith chronograph, it's kind of an interesting watch. If you get it cheap enough, you know, because, you know, it's a chronograph. It's got this open work thing. It's kind of interesting. You know, it's better than, you know, it's what, like $5 grand or $4 grand. So it's, you know, good value. Now the Speedmaster, again, you know, so banged out. You know, the Submariner is, again, that's the new ceramic, which is a horrible, disproportionate. The ceramic looks cheap, nasty, and vinyl. At least the JLC, the master compressor, I mean, it's a big, giant piece of gold. The dial is beautiful. You got this kind of black dial. It actually looks great. And a fat slob like Archie, for fat walrus, bogan, bastard, hippo, Hungary hippo, it's actually proportional. You know, it actually would look good. And it kind of looks like an expensive watch, right? You know, it has a certain thing to it, right? The black dial. The dial looks great, by the way. The problem is just too big for most normal human beings. And it's also cheap. It's a good value. It's a good value. You can get it from like, I think like $9 grand or something. It's, again, there's probably $8 grand. There's probably $7,000 in gold in that watch. And then you got the Peasant Philippe at the left, which is the sex tourist watch in white gold, totally the wrong color. And then you got the other garbage in there. Again, it's very disappointing. Very disappointing. Again, I mean, the box is worth more than the watches. That's the sad thing.
And if you look at the distribution, how is the distribution done? Well, put it this way: it's like a public school, a private school controlling the market. They control wholesale and the distribution through the retail outlets. And the principal is a sadistic. You know, he's a sadistic son of a bitch who he controls who gets what. The customers get what. And you've got flippers trying to make a buck, flippers circling, dealing with the ADs. The enthusiast is pushed to the side. Rolex.
Archie now was talking about the modern, you know, the modern watch market, meaning what do you call it? You know, new watches. And again, this is why I'm not really interested in new watches, because it's like, here is the problem with most of these new so-called new watches. Here's the reality, right? There is no difference between the thing that's brand new and, you know, stuff from 20 or 30 years ago. There isn't. I mean, the technology is the same. They're just as accurate. There's no advantage. It's just these guys are trying to. There's no major innovation. They're just trying to sell you like something shinier. That's what it is with Rolex. I mean, okay, I'm wrong. With Rolex, it is a big difference because of the bracelets. Again, the Rolex bracelets of the past were absolutely horrible. You know, the clasps were tomato can metal. Finally, they're doing good stuff. So I actually, with Rolex is the only one where actually it's worth getting a new Rolex. It does make sense to get a new, but I would say not the ceramic stuff. I'm talking about like again, I'm not trying to, you know, talk up my own book, but the, you know, Yachtmaster is got again, there's no ceramic in the Yachtmaster. It's pure gold and steel. You know, the Daytona also you could do. And there's nothing wrong with the Daytona. Look, if you should get a Daytona if you actually use those timing functions, and some people do. I know some people who do that stuff. And I use timing functions all the time, but I do it on the Yachtmaster or the Submariner or whatever. The date is great, but again, the ceramic stuff that they're doing is garbage. But again, there's no upside to these new watches than the previous generation. Like, the new AP is Royal Oak is not any better than the one they were doing, in 2005. Yeah, pre-2005 there was a difference, but once you get into 2005, you get the nice bright dials. There is no difference between the modern. I mean, yeah, you get a display back. Okay, big deal, big fucking deal. It's not worth it. It's not worth degrading yourself and wasting your time playing that game. Because again, if you can afford that watch, it means your time is valuable, right? So how many hours are you going to waste with jerk offs? It's just not worth it.
Doesn't give a fuck. They want you to.
And also the other thing is this: the problem I think is if you buy these new watches, then you become like one of these peasants. People think you're one of them, right? You're one of those peasants. Look, if I were to buy a brand new Royal Oak, like a 37 millimeter, Royal Oak 37 millimeter, the problem with that watch is, other peasants in that universe would think, oh wow, it's a Royal Oak, because they're peasants, right? That's what they want. It attracts other peasants, right? But when you have a vintage Royal Oak, when you got the owl, you got like a dual time, you got whatever, you got a perpetual from the 80s or the 90s, then those watches attract a higher caliber. They attract a higher caliber person. You know what I'm saying? It's like you don't want the new watch because the new watch attracts, peasants. Well, actually, isn't it more accurate to use a digital timer? That's because you don't have to actually think, right? You look at it and boom, the number is right in your face. Look, I think if you have to use a chrono at a racetrack to see how your horses or your F1 team is doing, and I'm presuming you have your own F1 team, right? Like, I presume you're not just a spectator. I presume you're actually the owner of the Ferrari team or whatever, Team Mercedes, whatever it is, right? You're like that guy. What's his name? Flavio Briatore, right? I think, no, he wasn't the owner. He was like the manager, I think. But whatever. You get the point, right? So if you own the team, you got one of your servants who has the timer. You can't be bothered to look at the timer. No, you got to be looking at the cars. You can't. It's distracting, right? When I'm at the Kentucky Derby, I have 3 horses that I own running there, and I got that Baffert bastard there. He's the guy. He's my servant. Baffert is the one that has the timer. I'm there in the box with several attractive prostitutes looking at the horses running, right? I don't have time to look at the timer, right? That's doesn't make any sense. Makes no sense. Ceramic subs, yes, no. The ceramic Submariner is it's no good. It's no good. Yeah. I'm listening. The thing with the Submariner, any Rolex, there is no difference between modern Rolex and the new one. It's just as accurate. Why would you waste the time? It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense. And the ceramic is, the ceramic is a peasant. It has peasant vibrations. It's got peasant vibrations. Yeah. So I was saying the thing is with the modern bracelets, that is the big advance. That to me is really makes Rolex desirable. The modern bracelets, which have, again, you got the little adjustments, it's high quality, you got all that. Just as long as you don't get into the ceramic. The ceramic is the thing that ruins it. So again, with the Yachtmaster, you got no ceramic, and you got the adjustable bracelet, and it's great. It's great. Yeah. Unbelievable, but true. Unbelievable, but true. There we go. Doc Mick. Oh, Doc Mick became an aristocrat. Look at that. Doc Mick became an aristocrat. Exactly. Yeah, I mean the owner, the team owner. No team owner wears a Daytona. Okay, I guarantee you, they're not wearing a Daytona. They're probably wearing like an RM or something. Maybe actually they do. They just do. I don't think they use those timing functions. It doesn't make any sense. You can't. You look at it. It doesn't. It's just. It's too small. The numbers are too small. Thank you to Baron Duke Davidson. Duke Davidson lifting the peasants from the
buy as much garbage as possible to get the hype shit. And I got to tell you, I'm not going to be playing fucking hype master games. I ain't playing the hype games. Exactly. I'm not doing the hype master. I'm not doing hype games for anybody. I'm not fucking playing this shit.
I concur.
Never settle unless it's into.
Look at this. We're talking about peasants. We're talking about Archie. And what kind of ad do I get? BMW. A shitter BMW car.
Available premium leather seats while pulling hair.
This is like an iPad. It's an iPad on wheels.
I'm not playing hype master games, okay? No. I refuse to participate in hype.
You know what's funny? The AI is so good. The problem is, on one of the streams I was doing the pedo talk. I was talking about pedo vibes and all that. And the commercials that came up, I think the AI got it wrong. I got commercials for like, I don't know, children's somewhere. Yeah, it's the AI is not working properly.
The distribution channel, that's like a headmaster who's a sadistic son of a bitch. I use the P word, but the Google algorithm's going to go crazy. It's like having a school principal. He's a P.
Pedo. So basically, the pedo vibe. Basically, Archie's saying that that essentially it's like these. Yeah. Well, let him say it.
Like the Catholics had. Like the Catholics had.
Basically, you're getting sexually assaulted by the school principal, whatever.
Yeah. And he fucks the students to get one.
I think he's talking about the OCOC.
Distribution, you got to do what the master wants, and that's who controls it. And you look at how the brands behave. They behave like a bunch of fucking cunts. Absolute bunch of fucking cunts. That's the brands. And I mean,
the brands are. That's the other reason I don't want to buy new watches. I don't want to support these brands. I really don't. I don't want to support Patek Philippe. Fuck Terry Stern. Okay, fuck him where he breathes. And fuck, especially Audemars Piguet. Fuck them where they breathe. The bunch of scumbags. And as far as the others, I don't really give a shit. Rolex. What is Rolex? It's just like a giant. I think it's like a giant Ponzi. It's not a Ponzi. It's like a what do you call it? Some sort of weird slush fund. It's a weird, new world order Bilderberg slush fund, because in theory it's a private foundation which is supposed to support charities for watchmakers. I mean these guys are making $10 billion a year. How many watchmakers do you think need support in Switzerland? Like 20? I don't know.
If Chevrolet or General Motors behaved like Rolex, there would be outcry. If Chevrolet said, okay, we'll sell you a Chevy Craptiva, a Cruise, an Equinox, but you must only service it through us, there would be outrage. But no, because it's a luxury product like Rolexes or high-end watches, they're allowed to get away with whatever the fuck they want. They get away with shit that nobody else in the world could get away with. And the Swiss, they're notorious cunts, absolute notorious cunts. You saw what happened to the Jews in World War II. They had all these people, they put money into the Swiss banks because things were uncertain. Half of these Jews ended up in the fucking gas chambers. And then when the family came knocking and said, we believe my grandfather put money in, or my family put money in. Oh, no worries, as long as you can give us the account number and the PIN.
Oh, yeah. This is the other thing. Oh, this is interesting. So if anybody knows, Switzerland, Switzerland was, I don't know, kind of a backwater or whatever, more or less up until, after World War II, right? Why is that? Well, look what happened. Basically, what you had was, let's say the Jews in Germany, right, or in Central Europe, right, which were, you had a middle-class population, right, and, some of them put money in some of these Swiss banks, right, and what happened was, hey, they were killed, right? you know, the 6 million Jews killed in Europe, right? If you go to Europe, there's no Jews in Europe. I mean, it's basically there's no Jews left in Europe. I mean, basically Hitler killed all the Jews in Europe. So if whatever relative came and said, hey, you know, my father or whatever, my uncle, they had, you know, they died in Auschwitz, and they had, you know, I know that they put money into UBS, okay, or Credit Suisse. So the Swiss bank, Credit Suisse, UBS, what they would say, oh, okay, that's fine, but but we need to see the death certificate. We need to see the death certificate. Well, interesting. I don't think the Germans were providing death certificates, you know, at Auschwitz and Dachau. You know, it wasn't part of the thing, right? So basically, that gave the banks an excuse to keep the money. And the other thing was also insurance. That was the other thing, the insurance companies. That was even a bigger problem because let's say, I think there was a couple of big insurers. I think one of them was Generali, whatever it was, right? And they basically said, oh, we're not paying out a death claim because you don't have a death certificate. You know, oh, the family died at Auschwitz or at Dachau. We understand, but unfortunately, we can't pay out a claim because there's no death certificate. You know, so basically, what happened is they were able to keep billions of dollars, right? You know, over the year. By the way, that was 80 years ago. That adds up, right? So there's billions and billions of dollars. And here's the great thing with banks. You know, they have, there's a whole banking thing. They have to keep a certain amount of reserves or whatever. So they essentially have this free money that they've been playing with for the last 80 years, and that was actually one of the reasons that the Swiss banking sector became so big, because they didn't have to, pay out, or give back all these deposits. They're sitting on these deposits. They're making money on these deposits that there is no claimant on. There's no liability, basically, right? And we're talking about it's a lot of money if you really do the math, right? You do the math. I mean, shit, it's that's what happened with Switzerland. So the Swiss are basically the scum of the earth. I mean, sure, the Australians are bad, the Canadians, but the Swiss are really, and the Swiss brands, they're not going to give you ice in the wintertime. I mean, they charge you for they nickel and dime you with every little thing. I mean, if you go into a Swiss, whatever place to buy something, they'll charge you for the plastic spoons for takeout.
We'll give you the proceeds. No, you don't know. Absolute fucking cunts. Fucking cunts. And you think in the watch industry it's any fucking different. You think it is any fucking different. You guys have no fucking idea. It is fucked. Absolutely fucked. Because they're a bunch of cunts. And I'm just telling you, you think they're going to behave admirably. Do you know? No.
What is this thing with the Calvinists? The Calvinists are what? Very puritanical. What is it? They are very thrifty. I don't know. They're very what is it? Not flashy. That's the whole thing with Calvinism, right? What is the Calvinism thing? The Calvinists are very what's interesting is Switzerland is, I'll tell you how miserable these Swiss fucks are. You got this beautiful country, the Alps, clean air, the water is incredible, right? If you can drink the water right out of that lake. Yeah. Right. They're very sober. Yeah, exactly. Listen, no, the problem is with Switzerland is beautiful country. You go in the lakes, the water is incredible. You can drink right out of the tap. The tap water in Lucerne is better than Fiji water. Okay, it's the best water in the world. You just it's delicious, right? But they're so miserable, these Swiss. I mean, I think they have the highest suicide rate in the world. I don't know what, they're very miserable. They're always doing drugs. I mean, very high drug addiction rate. I mean, I think they legalized. I think they've also legalized suicide. They've legalized medically whatever, or doctor-assisted suicide because they're so miserable. And again, it's such a wealthy country. They got it's very high standard of living, and they're just miserable fucks. They're miserable. Hey, the food is overpriced. The food is all overpriced. Yeah, I mean, it's Yeah, what do they do that's good? The cheese? Is that their only decent product? That's interesting. That's right. And what's the border? The border, it's like, what is it? It's Geneva, between Geneva, Geneva and what's the place next door? What's the place next door? Whatever it is. Anyway, but actually no. But the whole whatever the Swiss touch is shit, right? Like Lugano, the Swiss Italian part is also kind of like, very sober, pure, very like the stiffs. They're a bunch of fucking stiffs, a bunch of stiffs. But they know how to make good clocks. I mean, but here's the thing. Listen, it's at the end of the day, right? We're all God's creatures, right? God created different types of people for different things, right? And everybody is important, right? So the Swiss, you need the Swiss because you need that type of person to make these tiny little clocks and tiny little watches. You think a normal person is going to sit down for 8 hours a day making a perpetual calendar watch? You think an Italian is going to do that? A Frenchman? Are you crazy? You think a Greek is going to do that? I mean, come on. It's going to be only the Swiss, and maybe the Germans. Maybe. Well, three. It's kind of the same thing, right? They're kind of the same, but the Swiss are like the most like uncolorful. The Swiss are like just bland. They're just fucking so bland. It's like at least the Germans. I mean, like you go to Munich, right? Munich. They have a sense of style, right? They got some, taste. They have good beer. They have beautiful Baroque art. In Austria, they had this, they have that Euro trash sensibility, which is nice, right? It's like, but let me see what do we got here? The wealth, yeah. No, the food costs like it's gonna pay you what, 3 times as much? 3 times as much. Yeah, that's right. They do. You know what? They make this. What do you call it? The Sphinx? The Sphinx. The Sphinx. The Sphinx 9mm, which is like, wow. I mean, it's all metal. It's all steel, right? It's all steel. And the trigger, when you pull the trigger, it is so crisp. It's like such an incredible, like, it's almost orgasmic. It's but then they make that the Sphinx. Oh, Lyon. I think I've never been to Lyon, but they have good. I think I probably because I took the train from Paris to Geneva. Where does that go through? It goes through. I don't know where it goes through, but Lyon is in the south, no, or west, east. I don't know. Michelin is French. Michelin is French. I think that's what it is. Yeah, they got better things to do. I mean, they're chasing women, they're drinking wine, eating. They got things to do. Going to the beach. Yeah. Yeah, no, it is very. I tell you what it is. It's so expensive. It's like literally 3 times the price. I had a good meal. It was in Lucerne, right? Lucerne. I think it was Lucerne. And it was at this It was a hotel kind of restaurant outdoors. And I had like a salad or whatever it was. I'm not sure what was in the salad, but maybe it was a sandwich. It was very well made. Everything is very clean, very professional, very perfect. Everything's like literally, like they give you the glasses. The glasses are clean. Like everything is like, tip top, like crisp, beautiful. Ironically though, the hotel I stayed in, the internet wasn't working. I was like, For 2 days, they didn't have internet. I was like, what kind of, how can you be in Switzerland and not have functioning internet? I mean, that's a disgrace to have, something not functioning. Oh, and of course they wouldn't give me a credit or whatever on the on my thing, because once they got your money, oh no. I don't know. You Google it. Unbelievable. Let's go back to Archie.
And this is the whole reason the watch industry attracts fucking dickheads, because you've got people who are insecure. They play the dealer games. They suck the cock of the schoolmaster.
Okay, who is he talking about? Is he talking about the old cock? Who's sucking the cock?
Because you've got people who are insecure. They play the dealer games. They suck the cock of the schoolmaster.
Is he talking about the old cock? What do you guys think? Is he talking about the old cock? Who could be talking about?
They play the games to get the rare and hard to get shit, and then they come out on the forums. Oh, I'm so much better than you.
Oh,
wah. Short man syndrome, short man JJ syndrome. That's all it is. Short man JJ.
Size 7 Skechers short man syndrome. JJ is like a pin. He's like a bowling pin. Short, it is a short, fat, and round.
JJ gets upset because I called him out as being a fat fucking short cunt. I mean, hey, since when hasn't truth been allowed? And I've got to tell you, why does watch collecting, attract such dickheads? You look at how the brands behave.
JJ Buchiachistan. So JJ Buchiachistan, and he's got the Pillsbury Doughboy. I think that's his grooming. That's his groomie, the Pillsbury Doughboy with the Taliban beard.
And now we've got a big crash. It's all gone patient. It's gone patient. And all I can say is it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of cunts. It couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of cunts.
Archie's angry and bitter. Archie's bitter and angry, and he's hoping that the world collapses. And he's rooting for the markets to collapse so that he could, say "I told you so" or something. But I don't know. Look at this. Let me see here. The Bitcoin is holding on. I mean, I really do think there's a very good chance of a very significant pullback. Let me look at the charts here, like end of day action here. Let me look at the end of day. I didn't look here. Let me see. Yeah. You never know. It's these markets are funny. It could be today. Might have been today. May have been a today may have been like a could be the bottom. Could be we may have a bottom. We don't know. We're not gonna know. We're not gonna know till next week. But it looks like the market may have found a level of support in the short term. Right? It's very possible. It could be. It's hard to say. It's hard to say right here. It looks. It looks like. I mean, it technically it's still downtrend, but there might be a short term bounce.
That's what I say. That's right.
The Bitcoin, I gotta tell you guys, this Bitcoin thing, I know like everybody believes it's a religion. It's a religion. It's a cult. And, I think the problem with Bitcoin, I'm telling you this, I think Bitcoin really poses, it's the greatest systemic risk to world financial markets. It's the greatest systemic risk. It really is. I think it's much more. It's going to be much bigger than the whole thing with the home loans, the housing crash stuff. Absolutely, because everybody's into Bitcoin, right? And the Bitcoin, it's based on really nothing. Everybody knows it's based on nothing. They tell you, oh yeah, well it's the electricity to do the thing, and there's a limited amount of Bitcoin. But what do you do with the Bitcoin? There's no it doesn't do it. It's like it's air. It's air basically, right? It's basically like, you could say the same thing about the dollar or any currency. Well, no, because at least the dollar is backed by the American government, which has, they have guns. Okay, they got the military, and they can raise taxes. They could take all your money. So yes, they could pay the debts. Whereas Bitcoin is based on it's vapor. It's vaporware. It really is. I mean, it was 25 cents at one point, or a nickel. It was basically worth what, 25 cents, and now it's 85 grand. Because what? I think it's the greatest scam. It's like the Tower of Babel. It's like the Tower of Babel, in the Bible, right? It's like everybody believes that the whole world is buying into it. Like literally the whole world. It's universal. It's a universal religion right now, the Bitcoin. People believe in it like it is a religion, right? Because if you don't believe in Bitcoin, they say, "Oh, you're like a boomer. You're like whatever." But the Bitcoin could just, it could become worth zero tomorrow. I mean, it's a fugazi. It's a giant fugazi. And now what you have is, and this is why now this is, I find shocking that Trump, who's I think is a smart guy, Trump is saying that he wants America to have a strategic crypto reserve. Like, what the fuck is a strategic crypto reserve? I mean, what strategic value does owning crypto have? That I don't understand. Gold, I get it. Oil, yes, you need oil, petroleum reserves. I get it. Certain, strategic metals, whatever. Bitcoin, crypto, what the fuck do you need crypto for? I don't want my money tied up in crypto as a taxpayer. Exactly. This guy knows. I mean, the Dutch know. The Dutch know a scam. They know a bubble. If anybody knows a bubble, it's the Dutch. I'm curious, how many Dutch are buying crypto? I don't know. Is it big in the Netherlands? I think it's big worldwide. It's big, like literally everywhere. I mean, there's guys in caves. I mean, the Taliban are using crypto. I mean, people in caves use crypto. Everybody owns it. And the problem is, now you have these companies. You have publicly traded companies like MicroStrategy. I guess they changed their name now, but their whole thing is, oh yeah, we own crypto. That's it. We're just, our best use of creating shareholder value is by owning crypto. I mean, like, what the hell is that? I mean, that is the ultimate signal of, we're buying tulips. We're going to own tulips. So we're just buying these tulips. Well, actually, listen, with tulip bulbs, to give credit, tulips are beautiful flowers. I mean, I understand, yeah, that you could have rare tulips, and I can understand that you could have actually a legitimate value to a tulip, having some sort of thing. Again, assuming you can produce, reproduce them, whatever, grow more of them. I mean, I don't know. I don't grow tulips, but at least there you have some sort of value with the tulips. But the fucking Bitcoin, you can't even look at it. Imagine you go to the bank, say, "Hey, I want to take out my Bitcoin. I want to look at it. I want to swim in my Bitcoin." I mean, you can go to the bank and say, "Look, I want to take out all my money. I want it in $100 bills. I want it in cash." And they're going to tell you, "Oh yeah, well, what?" Actually, I think in America, they don't even want you to take it out. They're going to tell you, "Well, why do you need it? Why do you need it?" That's what they're going to tell you. And then they're going to say, "Well, we need like a week to get the money," because they don't have the money. The money doesn't exist. So finally, they're going to get it to you, and then you can take it home, with a big bag full of $100 bills, throw it on your bed, and roll around in it naked. Roll around naked in $100 bills. Okay, at least you'll have some enjoyment. You can look at gold. I think it's very pleasant looking at gold. Gold has a nice warm energy. Gold has actually a very positive energy. I actually get pleasure looking at gold. It's like it just has a warm, like it's something about it. It's a spiritual metal. It really is. It's a spiritual metal. Platinum is not. Platinum is just an industrial metal. So yeah, that's what's going on. He's appeasing. I think he's trying to appease the bros. The crypto bros. I mean that's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, the crypto bros did actually, and also, this becomes a little bit corrupt because he's got his own shit coin, right? He's got the Trump jizz coin or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, well, it could be, but the problem with the Bitcoin is it the universal currency? I don't know. I mean, what is it backed by? What is it backed by? Like, what is it, you know? Yeah, there you go. There you go. But no, I think the at least gold. Okay, gold is what you buy if you're worried about the dollar or if you're worried about currencies. Gold. That's why gold is going up. But the Bitcoin is a fugazi. No, wrong. We got again. This is what we got. We got one of these cult followers. Yeah, there's a set supply. You believe that? But who cares? A set supply. It's like, okay, there's a set supply of I don't know, whatever, the Patek or whatever shit watch. Who cares? Nobody's interested in it. Gold is by the way, you can't even get gold now. Yeah, you try to find gold, okay? You try to open a gold mine. Listen, gold is God's money, okay? You know who says that? Robert Kiyosaki. Gold is God's money. Gold it actually has a long spiritual thing. Gold is mentioned in the Bible, like right in the beginning, like something about the river, the land of Ophir, and which is Africa somewhere, right? And the gold is good. You know, doesn't say well, why would it be mentioned? Gold. I mean, why? Yeah. Bitcoin. Here we go. Okay, now does Baron Omar own any? Does Baron Omar a believer in Bitcoin? Is Baron Omar a believer in Bitcoin? Wait, what Lindy? What is that? Lindy. What is Lindy? Is that the thing with what the hell is it called? The shit. What's that economic term? The economic term, or whatever it is. But yeah. He's not a believer in Bitcoin. Is it because you're old? Is it because you're a boomer? You're not a believer in Bitcoin? Because I think it could be. What I'm concerned about is this. I'm concerned about. Here's the thing. I think Bitcoin is. I think it's binary. Either I'm dead wrong because I really don't. I think it's a scam, but it could be also like I might be just dead wrong. It's very possible. It's very possible that I'm dead wrong, and like I just don't get it. I could be because look at all these kids, these 20-year-olds, whatever. They love crypto. But maybe just like again the Tower of Babel and the Tulip Mania. I mean, it's whatever the South Sea bubble. This is like I think the greatest systemic risk. And when Bitcoin blows up, I think when people realize that it's a giant fugazi, what's going to happen is I think there's going to be there could be an economic collapse. There could be a collapse. Lindy. Yeah. Okay. Basically, what is it? So it's called some sort of good. No, what is it? A Lindy good or something like that. Withstood the right. They withstood the concept of fun. Now, is Taleb, is he a fan of crypto? I don't know. I think he might be like whatever. He's agnostic. I think he's agnostic. He's basically like a speculator. He'll go for whatever. I mean, short term. What is the use case? Yeah. Listen, I think everybody agrees. Yeah, okay, it's great. This decentralized finance. I think it's a great concept, right? The whole thing with blockchain, blah blah blah. Yeah, and everybody and all these people out there say, "Oh, you're a Luddite. Oh, you don't." No, I think blockchain, decentralized. It's great. It's the future. It's great. But I just don't believe in some fugazi. What do you call it? Right. How, they get paid in Bitcoin? if Taleb is not a fan of crypto, well, that tells you everything you need to know. Neither is Buffett. Neither is Buffett. And, you know, it's, but I tell you something, I mean, like, as a speculative thing, I mean, it's just a great speculative, you know, I told you guys this joke before, but there's an old joke. There's like an old joke about, I think, where did I read this? I think maybe this is actually from Taleb, Nassim Taleb's book, but there's an old joke, right? There's the sardine futures exchange, right? And they're trading sardine futures. And I don't know if you guys know how the futures market works. I know our Dutch friend knows about the futures because, you know, the Dutch invented commodity futures. But so basically, you know, in theory, you can take delivery, right? So, you know, the guy says, okay, I'm going to corner the sardine market. He basically he buys up all the contracts, and then he says, okay, I'm taking delivery because, and if he takes delivery, that means really the market goes bananas because nobody has it. But he takes delivery. Says, okay, you want physical delivery of sardines? No problem. Here's the warehouse, you know, and here's your thing. And the sardines are at the warehouse. So the guy goes to the warehouse, opens the doors, and you know, these crates of sardines. Okay, he opens the one crate, takes out a can of sardines, opens it up, because just, you know, out of curiosity, he says, hey, let me try it. I paid all this money, and the sardines are rotten. The sardines. Then he opens another crate. Those sardines are rotten. Then he figures out, shit, all the sardines, he cornered the market, all the sardines at the clearinghouse, they're all rotten. So he goes to the chairman of the exchange. He says, hey, I was ripped off. This is a scam. These sardines are all rotten. I demand proper sardines I demand to take delivery of clean, you know, fresh sardines. The chairman of the exchange goes, what are you, an idiot? The sardines futures, it's for trading. It's not for eating. It's for trading. So that's what Bitcoin is. It's for speculation. It's not for any use. It's just for a jerk. It's like a giant circle jerk. It's a giant mental masturbation. There we go. Oh, there we go. Okay. No, we got believers. We got true believers. I don't know. Let's go. Okay, so let's go back to Archieverse.
These Sephora colognes are a scam. Did you know these luxury fragrances cost almost nothing to make?
What
David and I used to spend so much money.
I got two Buchiachistan. I got these two Buchiachistan and their t-shirts, selling colognes, selling perfumes here. I mean, listen. I'm going to give these guys a marketing tip. If I'm buying perfume, cologne, whatever, I want to see good-looking people, right? I want to see beautiful women, handsome men, elegantly dressed. I don't want to see a couple of Buchiachistan in t-shirts, you know, with their scrawny arms sitting in a room with bad lighting. Like, what the fuck is this? Like, and by the way, I read an article in the Wall Street Journal that cologne is a huge thing now with kids, like teenage boys. They're all getting into cologne. I think that's why Artem Pizdets, Tim Wright, does a whole show about cologne, and that's why the Okuk is a big supporter of that channel. Well, I'm not going to go in that whole direction, but you know, it's weird. I mean, I like cologne, but you know, I mean, like it's weird the way these people, they collect cologne. They're into it as like a whole thing. They collect it. Like, what the fuck is that about?
On premium fragrances.
It couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of cunts. And for me, I'm going to Breguet. I'm putting my money.
Archie's rooting for the collapse of the world, and he's going all in on Breguet. He's going all in on Breguet. And fuck the rest of you guys with your Rolex and Patek.
For the watches that are horological excellence, high-end watchmakers, groundbreaking at value for money prices. Breguet. I don't need to fucking apologize for buying Breguet.
Of course, we all saw the video from that guy. Who's the guy, the guy about talking about Breguet being a shitter brand. Apparently, again, this is an article that came out in the journal, and apparently what's going on is teenage boys, like high school, I don't know, whatever, like 15, 16, whatever, like they're buying. I mean, by the way, this cologne is not cheap. It's like, it's expensive. It's like could be a couple $100. They're all buying this cologne because I think they probably think they're going to get laid. They think that because I remember those commercials from Axe, the body spray, Axe body spray, whatever it was. It was all over. Like that was a big thing, Axe. And the premise of it was, okay, if you smell good, if you smell like Axe, you're going to get laid. And listen, that's a very appealing message to any 15-year-old. I mean, no, it really is. Like, okay, you smell like this, and this is how you get girls. I mean, hey, good marketing. Good marketing. Breguet. Breguet is overpriced. I think Breguet is overpriced. No, that's actually the sardine thing was no, the Trading Places was orange juice, but kind of along those lines. Kind of along those lines. Kind of along those lines. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Proudly own 3 rose gold Breguets. Yes. And if I had more of a fucking HELOC, if those bastards at the bank would have given me more, I would buy more Breguets. That's what I do.
Okay. So this guy's taking money. He's taking out a second mortgage. He's taking out a second mortgage, home equity line or whatever, to buy watches. I mean, that's a good use. I think that's a very prudent use of funds, especially Breguet. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take out. I'm gonna borrow money. I'm gonna buy. Okay, let me see if this trade makes sense. I'm gonna borrow money to buy a watch that's basically a depreciating or a dead money watch. Yeah, I mean, like Breguet is a dead money depreciating watch. Now, okay, I could potentially foresee maybe buying, I don't know, some watch which is but again, I don't know how much he's paying, but I assume it's got to be 8%. And I got to tell you, 8% is actually it's a high bar. It's a high bar for watches because very few watches, first of all, very few watches appreciate, and of those that appreciate, very few appreciate it at 8% compounded. Very few. Now, of course, look, on this channel, we tell you about watches that will double and triple in value. And I think I don't know if the word is lucky, but we've had some good winners, right? But still, let's, to borrow money at 8% to buy Breguet, I wouldn't borrow money to buy Breguet at 8%. I mean, I'd borrow money maybe to buy like a Patek 3940. If I get one really dirt cheap, yeah, maybe, because I think that's going to go up. I'm a believer in Ellipse. Would I borrow money for the Ellipse? I actually wouldn't. I wouldn't, even though I'm a big fan of the Ellipse. I think the Ellipse is going to have a bigger move short term, only because I think the 3940 is the blue chip. So I would not borrow to buy the Ellipse. I wouldn't borrow money to buy anyway. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, there's very few watches that have any like real. Again, it's a high bar, 8%.
Hey, man, I would fucking do it, man. I would fucking do it because that's where you should be putting your money, is into things you like, horological significance. You're not sucking the dealer's
money
cock,
now.
not playing the dealer games. No, I want what I want. That's exactly it, guys. So, man, I got to tell you, the reason this hobby attracts such dickheads, you just look at how the manufacturers behave, how the brands behave, and all I can say is it couldn't happen. This watch market crash, it couldn't happen to a nicer bunch of cunts. Guys, I'm ArchieLuxury. Please subscribe. Subscribe to this channel. We need your membership. Subscribe. Check out.
I think that I should say also, yes, guys, we need your money. You got to subscribe now. Send money now. This channel costs, again, millions of dollars.
My daily stream.
Not the Archie, but
morning and night. Morning and night.
Yeah, let me put this guy on mute while I talk about the Watch Reporter channel.
A day. Check the fuckers out. And please, guys, ArchieLuxury. Guys.
Okay, that's it. This is what happens. I mean, this is you taking advice from a guy with horns. He's got horns in his head. He's got horns growing out of his head with this fake brick wall, borrowing money from the bank to buy Breguet watches. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at least with Rolex, maybe, I don't know. Oh yeah, Piatine. Yeah, the Piatine. I think that might be too intellectual. That's too much of an inside thing. The Piatine, the Ela, it's too much. It's too much. It's too advanced. It's too advanced. It's lost. It's lost on the peasants. All right. So what are we're gonna say? We got this. Let me see. We got. Oh yeah, here we go. The shipbuilding is being removed from Taiwan. Yeah, this is very interesting because so this TSMC, right, the Taiwan big semiconductor, they're going to open a big plant in the U.S., right? I think Intel is opening a big plant, I think in near Scottsdale. So these guys are all going to the U.S., right? I think El Trump is pressuring the Taiwanese, telling them, listen, hey, guess what? We're not going to protect you. I mean, what's in it for us? I mean, what the fuck? Why would America send, send their, their children, basically, your sons, your daughters, whatever, to fight a war, like, on the other side of the world, when these people have their own fucking army, they're wealthy. The Taiwanese are wealthy, right? They should be buying arms from America. They should call that guy Eric. What's his name? Eric. The guy from Blackwater. Eric, whatever his name is, the Blackwater guy, and he'll build him a military. He'll build him a military. Well, America shouldn't get involved, but yeah, I think this is very interesting. Yeah, I think they want to have the shipbuilding come back to the U.S. Ship making here because the Taiwan is really not. Taiwan may not belong for this world. I mean, it is technically part of China. I mean, it does technically belong to China. I mean, the people there are Chinese, right? It's like, I don't know. It's like Ukraine, Russia. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, no? It really is. And the Taiwanese are Chinese. I mean, the Chinese. I mean, it's like, why are we getting involved? I mean, why are we getting involved with these Chinese people? It's like Singapore. They're Chinese, right? Taiwan is Chinese. They are a breakaway. I hope the Chinese are listening. They're going to send me some money. The Chinese government should send me money to be their spokesperson. But yeah, the Taiwan is a breakaway republic. Okay, it's a breakaway rebel state that basically broke away during the revolution. So yeah, it's I don't know. Look, whoever sends money to this channel, if Taiwan sends money here, we'll support Taiwan. If China sends money, we'll support the Chinese case, because I could see either way. I could really see whoever is going to send money is going to get the support of this channel. Yeah, I'll tell you what I like. I like the fact that at least Trump is honest. Trump, at least he's honest about it. He says, look, you want protection? You got to pay for it. I mean, you got to give us your oil, or you got to give us your rare earth metals, whatever you got. I mean, really. Eric Prince, very interesting guy, very smart guy, that Eric Prince. I mean, that guy's a brilliant guy. But at least Trump is honest. I mean, look, this fucking grifter, this, what's his name? Artem Pizdets's father, which is Zelensky. So that guy, I mean, why is America supporting, in theory, it might have been better if the U.S. wouldn't have gotten involved. Then basically Russia would have walked in, and in 3 days they would have taken it over, and that's it. It would be like another thing there, and maybe a couple thousand people would be dead, and that's it. Now you got hundreds of thousands of people dead. I don't know how many millions of lives ruined. You're talking about you got a generation wiped out, a generation of young people, literally a generation between the Russians, the Ukrainians, a generation wiped out. It's like World War I. You know, in World War I, literally a generation of young men was wiped out. I mean, it's crazy. A massive catastrophe, World War One. Like I remember I went to in Paris the hotel, the Drouot, the auction house, Hotel Drouot, and downstairs near the bathrooms they have like a memorial plaque, you know, for all basically Hotel Drouot employees or whatever, people in the auction trade who died during the wars defending France, right? You know, they're patriotic. The French are patriotic. And so, you know, basically, so all the, and you look at that plaque, right? And you look at, you know, World War One has, you know, massive amount of people. You know, it's like, and it was across all classes. Like you look at, because it's the plaque says, you know, the name of the person, but it also tells you what their job was, you know, where they worked, right? It says like this guy was the, you know, appraiser, auctioneer, you know, whatever, clerk, whatever, you know, just, it's kind of nice that they're honoring their people, right? And I mean, it was, again, across all social classes. World War One just killed millions of Europeans, right? Of course, World War II, much less plaques because, you know, the French basically rolled over. I mean, the French basically rolled over for the Germans, like, you know, they had no appetite. But World War One is, and this is the same thing happening in Russia with the Ukraine thing. They're fighting over, like, you know, they haven't made any progress. They're in these trenches. They're just, it's just a giant meat grinder, and you know, it's going to destroy the population. I mean, we're, you know, it's actually catastrophic. They would have been much better off if you know, the U.S. would have said, okay, you're on your own. Okay, you guys, okay, let the Russians take over. Okay, fine. I mean, it's the same fucking people. They speak the same language. It's the, you know, this thing about, oh, Ukrainians, no, it's the same people. Okay, it's like, it's kind of like New York, New Jersey. Okay, it's the same, or I don't know, New York and Boston. Okay, you know, the Bostonians, they have a different accent. They're kind of assholes or whatever. But, you know, they're more or less the same, you know, ethnically, culturally, whatever, more or less the same people. So, you know, it's ridiculous. It's Biden. It really is Biden's fault. The U.S. pivoting to be the next Taiwan. Yes. China. Memovox, Baron Memovox, will China take back Taiwan during El Trump's administration? Will China make a move on Taiwan in the next 3 years? Yeah. Actually, the eastern half of Ukraine is really Russians. Yeah, the eastern half is Russians. I mean, it was part of the Soviet Union. It was all, you know, they always had some friction because, you know, the Ukrainians, they kind of, you know, they have a little bit of their own culture. The Russian, it's not like a major difference. It's not. It's like, you know, it's basically the same shit, right? You know, definitely the Ukrainians did cooperate with the Nazis. Actually, the Ukrainians are very pro-Nazi. I mean, most, you know, it's interesting. The Nazis hired the Ukrainians to work in all the concentration camps. So a little known fact. And after the war, those Ukrainians all moved to Toronto. And in Toronto, there's actually a monument to, you know, the Ukrainian SS. Fun fact. So the Ukrainians, a lot, you know, and in Canada, they're, you know, whatever. They're like war heroes or whatever, right? But no, the Ukrainian, the U.S. should not be supporting the Ukraine with this whole Russia thing, unless the Ukraine and they have a lot of resources, they got all sorts of stuff. they should pay for it. They should pay for it. Why is the American taxpayer giving hundreds of billions of dollars to these people? You know, who the fuck knows where the Ukraine is, right? I mean, you got people in America who are starving, right? You got senior citizens who are getting squeezed, you know, because of inflation, because of the Ukraine is causing the inflation. Senior citizens are getting squeezed. You know, their social security checks are not enough to pay for food, right? You know, a lot of people are getting squeezed. It's because of Ukraine. Who the fuck gives a fuck about Ukraine? I don't give a fuck about Ukraine or Russia. Fuck them all where they breathe. Right. Yeah, maybe they will make a move on Taiwan in 50 years. Yeah, exactly. They're really not in a rush. I mean, there's no rush. Yeah, and you know, they're building. You know, they're building a major navy. The Chinese Navy is huge. It's huge. At least listen. At least with Trump, he's you know, he's making these grifters actually pay up, whether it's the Ukrainians, whether it's the Europeans. You know, it's you know, all these people, they got to start paying up. It's like this channel. We don't do shit for free, right? Like we need to have donations. We need to have donations. Okay. All right, we haven't got any donations here. We only got one super sticker. We're gonna cut this short here because you know, this is the channel. Listen, this costs millions of dollars to run this channel. So unless we get a major super chat in the next, I'm gonna count to 10. I'm gonna count to 10. If we don't get it by 10, we're gonna drop the stream. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 10. All right, AMF.